Alright, the timer reached 0, so you know what that means. It's another week of CPL Royale. So, last week we had 3 games of week 1 being played. Show you the scoreboard. So, these were the games that were supposed to happen in week 1. We only casted 3 of them. That's how many replays I had last week. Maybe we'll cast some more at some time later. But regardless, we are on to week 2 this time, and we have a better turnout. So last time we had 3 out of 8, now we have 4 out of 8. So 50% of the games have been played already. So well done on the players for doing that. 100 would have been optimal, but yeah, you know, I'll take what I can get. And right here you can see the current standings. So we've got SilentStorm, Azhi, and Exit with 1 point each. And it should be interesting because Exit and Azhi are playing this week, so, or at least in the games that we already have. So one of them should be taking the lead in the end of this cast, I hope. But yeah, while you're all still here, thank you for coming, joining the CPL9 Royale. And the CPL9 Royale is the follow-up event from the CPL9, and the CPL9 is the Coach-Pupil League. It's where we pair players of equal skill level against each other every week if they wish to compete. And yeah, without any further ado, let's go into the games, shall we? But yeah, what currently you're watching is the best of the game, the best of the best in terms of the game style. And you can always type !CPL Royale to find out more about the tournament, or !donate to see our current goal for donations, as well as there should be an overlay right over here on the screen. Right over here on the screen, that should tell you what the current donation status is. But yeah, we are already at game number 1. The way that this tournament works is every week we have, so the 9 players that we have in CPL9 Royale are the best players that were competing in the league earlier, and they all play against each other in a round-robin style tournament. And their matches are drawn randomly for when they happen, and each week there is a random map for that week. All games are best of 1. So we are now gonna watch a best of 1 series between the blue Protoss player, Baal, and the red Terran player, Kiko. So both of these players in the Ash clan, they might know each other's styles already. I know for sure that Baal was saying that he is practicing with quite a bit of the Ash folk already. I think he was, when he said that initially, he meant he had someone else of Ash in mind, but I'm sure that he can get games with Kiko as well. So we have a standard opening for Kiko, gas at 11 supply, and same for Baal. Let's see if he's gonna go for the Zealot and when he's gonna scout. So no Zealot being built right now. If he was going for a Zealot, he would most likely have an additional pylon, and the Zealot would have started already, delaying the Cyber Core with a few seconds. But none of that is happening right now, so we are going to have a standard opener from Baal. But we should keep an eye on when he decides to scout. He might be greedy and try to scout with his first goon. On this map, this is kind of okay. But you should always be mindful that the Terran players can pull some aggression, and if you don't scout it in time, it can often be game deciding. But seems like really what Baal is going for is that Goon Scout. Meanwhile, Kiko will scout him already. He scouted at 12 o'clock position. He did not see Baal there, and his SCV will arrive at Baal's base. Now, what is happening here is because Baal has not scouted Kiko yet, he couldn't really invest the time with his goon to kill that SCV. So he's just gonna have to let it live for now, and the SCV is free to hide somewhere in the map. Kiko though is not gonna be going for anything out of the ordinary. He sees that Baal is going for expansion, and he's gonna get an expansion of his own safely as well. So Baal adding a second gateway before his Robo. And his second goon should be on time because Kiko is taking a while and not making a beeline for the main base. Second goon already out, so this vulture is unlikely to kill any of the probes in the main base, but is gonna wait for the transfer. Baal will possibly try to be annoying by hitting that bunker. Maybe not. I'm not sure if this was 10-15. I don't think it was, especially because the SCV was here to scout everything. But Baal does have his two gateways rather fast and will be finally dealing with the SCV. Kiko though wants to put on some aggression, maybe snipe that tank depending, maybe snipe the Dragoon depending on what the direction from Baal is. And he did some hull damage. This is fine, and the tank will be repaired. So not the ideal situation for Kiko that he was hoping for, but I also don't think that he really relied on being able to kill the first goon. Vulture 3 hits away. We'll just scout around the map. And Kiko is making an armory. So that armory doesn't tell us much yet. The only useful piece of information that we have from this armory is that this is not going to be some 4-fac or 5-fac all-in. So Kiko will be making at least a single upgrade from that armory, and we will keep an eye to see whether he drops his starport and science facility after that to get that second attack upgrade started. Baal has good saturation in his main base, and the expansion, maybe a few more probes can be transferred to the expansion, and that's what he's doing right now. So pretty much perfect saturation by Baal. Meanwhile, Kiko has too few SCVs mining his natural expansion, but it's not the end of the world. And Baal will be looking to take that fort base, but A is gonna be denied by Kiko's vulture on the map. So very well done by Kiko. denies the fort from going up, but Baal sends another probe from his near expansion, and that is a very good pylon. That pylon serves two purposes. One of them is to tell you when the Terran is taking that base, but also after Kiko makes a starport, it prevents him from making a control tower, building a dropship, and just going unseen around from that angle of the map. First scan going down. Kiko sees Baal's army. And sees the Citadel of Adun. So very quick Stargate from Baal. He has a lot of gateways, so I don't think this is going to be carrier. But that Stargate was too fast if he was intending on going arbiters. Seems like he is. Just his build could be a bit more optimized, that's all. Not entirely sure what happened here, if there was another vulture to snipe the probe, or if the probe just went to the 12 o'clock and made expansion there. One thing though is this observer is really crucial, and seems like Kiko will be on top of that. So Kiko kills that first observer. All that the observer managed to see was the 4th and 5th tracks, 4th and 5th factories being produced. But that doesn't tell a lot. Ops could not confirm the science facility or a second armory, so at that point, Baal might still be thinking that Kiko is going for some sort of an aggressive stance, where in reality we know that Kiko is not really looking to do that. +2 on the way though. He does not have +1 armor started. No second factory as well. That vulture is very annoying, preventing some probes from mining in that base. But really, if Baal wants to start mining from that base, he should add a few more cannons, because the cannons near the choke are not gonna prevent Kiko's vultures from running by. Kiko very smartly laying some mines here to see when the probes are trying to transfer, and it seems like his efforts will pay off, so he is picking all the probes that were trying to transfer to that base. Some probes that were going to the 12 o'clock will be redirected to that 4th base. And we still don't have any mining at the 12 o'clock. So that is maybe fine, because Baal's plan for the 12 o'clock base is to simply add a bunch of gateways. Later he can also mine, but I don't think that this is currently his plan. We have +2 almost done, and Kiko is scanning a lot. He's probably trying to confirm where the army of Baal is, and this means that he is likely getting ready to attack, although there was just a dropship being loaded. And he is scouting, he is scanning everywhere just to see that Baal does not see that dropship. Now, that dropship flew over an observer, and technically, Baal should have seen that, but it seems like there is no reaction yet. So Kiko will divert some attention with vultures while dropping these two siege tanks. Dropping vultures is a lot more cost effective for Kiko right now, but that tank drop also did some damage. And he's gonna do a lot more damage if Baal does not redirect these probes on time. So suddenly things are looking better for Kiko. Kiko securing his fort base right now, dropship flying over that pylon, so they should have a pretty good idea of where the dropship is. Good spotting that mine to retreat all the Zealots, otherwise the Zealots will take a lot of damage. How many gateways does Baal have? So he currently has 8-10 gateways in his main base and 4 gateways, and the 5th going up in the 12 o'clock. So not horrible. His gateway number is okay. What hurts him more is the fact that he can still not mine from that second natural. Kiko's scanning this army of dragoons. Arbiter is already out on the map. That single dragoon managed to see that the forces at that 6 o'clock location are weakened, but that gave Kiko enough time to reposition his army, so this attack is not gonna do much. That is probably okay, because Baal managed to get that army out of position for Kiko and is now preparing for Rico. Rico is not done yet. So that was a bit of a blunder by Baal. The good news is, next Arbiter should be ready for Rico. Has 150 energy. And we have now Rico research, but we really don't want to be throwing away our Zealots to some vultures. So I guess here comes Rico attempt number 2. Is this going to be a better one? Just barely. We recalled on top of a lot of mines, and we recalled only Zealots. So Kiko unlikely to even try to divert some army to deal with this. These elves are doing more than they should have done, really. But Baal is currently bleeding too many units, which is allowing... Oh. Which is allowing Kiko to push. And that Arbiter just got EMP'd. So this Arbiter is practically useless. Baal is maxed though. So a lot of Zealots coming from the main base. They are a bit mistimed with that second Dragoon flank. But he is trying to fight the Terran army head on. That's not really going to work with Dragoons only. And now that the Dragoons are decked, Baal should probably back off. But it seems like he might just have enough to stop that first attack by Kiko. The bigger question is, what does Kiko have at home? And the answer is not much, so... Baal did reset the tank count, and is now doing a good job at killing the remaining tanks. So... once that is done, Kiko will need a lot of time to rebuild and get his tank count up again, which leaves a lot of time for Baal to gain map control, keep denying bases, and try to find weak spots. So right now his recalls will be extra effective because he can deny this base, harass this base, and also recall on top of that base. So Baal currently in a pretty good situation. Needs to be a bit smart with his attack avenues. But currently has a lot of potential. Is he going to be able to stop that CC from going up? It seems like he will focus the SCV making the command center so that command center will never go up. There are two Dragoons to try and kill off that Nexus as it lifts off. I don't know if they're gonna be enough. Maybe 4 goons would have been fine, but 2 goons is a bit too few. But regardless, Kiko, as I said, does not have the tank count right now. So he is just forced to surrender this base, lift that base, and try to retake that base with his reinforcement. But he really cannot hold all the positions that he did before. It's like one of the CCs got sniped, second one about to be sniped, and the third one did not got cancelled. So again, Baal looking in a pretty good situation here. What are the upgrades? So Kiko has 3-2. So if he's able to get his tank count up again, his army will be very strong. Baal matching his upgrades currently has so much map control and is constantly denying Kiko from getting extra bases. Kiko has his natural, which still has some money left in it, and he's trying to retake his third. But the game by Baal right now is to leave a few units over here, as he did, and just keep harassing that base until Kiko's army withers away. Oof, he does not want to attack without any zealots though. That was a bit of a mistake. Is this going to be enough for Kiko to come back into the game? I don't know. We don't have a lot of arbiters on the map, and that is because we are transitioning currently into carriers. And honestly, Baal is so ahead that we can probably do that. Although, when we are transitioning that late, we also transition with 4 to 5 Stargates, making carriers. Kiko sees an Arbiter, but also sees the Fleet Beacon. So very crucially, sees a fleet beacon and a cyber core spinning. And his response immediately is to start a few Goliaths. So he is expecting the carrier transition. At this point, we are not going to surprise Kiko. And Baal needs to, even though he's currently mid-transition, he should keep the aggression on and prevent Kiko from taking these two bases. Because if he can do that, he will definitely win with the carriers. If not, well, then the game becomes much more even. The arbiters are not doing a lot right now. Kiko trying to find Baal's army. He's getting ready for an attack and currently has 12 tanks again with these 5 tanks here. So he's up to almost 20 tanks. So that is a really scary army. And he's making Goliaths, so he will not be caught off by surprise from these carriers that still don't have any interceptors in them. So we gave a lot of time to Kiko to come back into this game. One of our arbiters is recalling, so we are preventing one of the potential bases from going up, but we will have to surrender that inner 12 o'clock, which is probably fine at this point. But we have to be very careful not to lose our main army. The carriers are a long way away yet. And the tanks by Kiko are scary. We should be making Goliaths only right now. And Kiko will take control of that 12 o'clock. Baal has some units, but he really needs the carriers. Still building interceptors. One of the carriers, 2 of the carriers are up to 8 interceptors. So if Baal had at least 3 or 4 carriers with max interceptors, that would be a very different story. But as it is, potentially the Goliaths by Kiko might stop it, but where are the Goliaths? Seems like these carriers actually might be what Baal needs right now. I suspect Kiko will unsiege and head back to his base to retreat to the turrets and Goliaths as soon as he sees the carriers, and that is the case. We are picking up that science vessel. We will get some of these 2 random Goliaths that are trying to defend. But the majority of the Goliaths, Baal really needs to utilize that choke point. He is currently trying to save the Nexus, which is probably possible, but his main concern right now is to kill off the Goliaths while they don't have the surface area without losing any carriers, and then he can later kill off the remaining units with the carriers. Losing the Nexus at this point is okay. If you trade the Nexus for an army, that's fine. Meanwhile, we had the 3rd base retaken once again, and we are trying to take this as our fort for Kiko. So this game is very close, but with Kiko losing his tanks once again and not producing enough Goliaths, even though he was aware of the carriers, I think Baal will finally manage to take this game. Baal had a very commanding position after that first attack by Kiko that failed. And let's see, are we gonna utilize the carriers to end the game? It's like we still want to attack with ground armies even though we have the 5 carriers. Three more carriers will take care of that single nexus. And Kiko taps out. GG. And well done by Baal. Definitely a bit of an upset as far as the favorites in that tournament go. But that is just another point that tells you that you can't really count any of these players out. They have qualified here and are in this tournament for a reason. So we had Kiko versus Baal, and Baal comes in the scoreboard with a single point. Alright, so let's go into game number 2. While you watch my beautiful anti-spoiler overlay. And right now we can go into the next game. So we've got Exit and Azhi. Excuse me, we've got Azhi spawning here at the 12 o'clock position. And we've got Azhi. Nope, we already introduced Azhi as the blue Protoss in 12 o'clock. And we have Exit at the 8 o'clock, spawning as the red Terran. Everything with the stream looks okay so far, but if there are any issues, let me know in the chat. Oh, I did see that game yesterday. Azhi and Exit were playing it. Azhi was actually streaming this game. I was there for the first 4 or 5 minutes, but it was very late in Europe when they played. So Azhi here going for, most likely will be going for a forward gateway. This is what the positioning tells us. We'll be lucky enough to find Exit first, so he might go and try to go for that gas steal. It is a 3-player map. Seems like Exit is not respecting that gas steal opportunity, so he's making an additional SCV. And got punished for that. And are we going for gas steal into Nexus? Or is there going to be something else? Seems like we might be. First Zelt on the way. Are we going to build a second Zelt, or are we going to build a Nexus? I think the intention here is to build a Nexus, that's why this probe is set to distance mine. But Exit realizes that this is the case and is blocking with the eBay himself. So knowing for both players, now Azhi has to make the decision of whether he wants to attack this eBay and place his Nexus, or if he wants to send Zelt across the map. He's sending the Zelt across the map, which is a smart decision because these two Marines will draw fire to that simulator, and the Zelt being there will delay killing that gas for a little while longer because the Marines will try to attack the Zelt instead of the Geyser. But Exit's SCV was uncontested for such a long time that he managed to get very far ahead with his eBay. Seems like he decided that he needs the resources, so he cancelled the eBay to build a CC of his own. But already 4 Marines are out, and we have 2 Zelts. This is probably still a good fight for the Zelts, but the Marines are microing well. So the Marines will prevent that from losing a lot of Marines. As I say that, almost all the Marines are dead. 4 kills. 4 Marine kills and 1 SCV kills spread across these 2 Zelts. So Azhi right now is in a good position. He has denied Exit Expo for a long time. And he killed a bonus SCV. And Exit is going to abandon the plan for going for that early CC and will throw down a factory. Azhi has some very red Zelts here. Oh, seems like the CC will be placed before the Nexus. Which is probably going to equalize things, because Exit lost a few of his workers. But will have his CC faster. Well, Very Hurt Zelt has regained some shields. And with the first Vulture out on the map, he should be able to deal with this aggression. Oh, Azhi losing one of his Dragoons, unfortunate. If he had 2 Dragoons to micro versus that 1 Vulture, 1 Marine, he would have won. But he was busy spending his attention elsewhere. CC almost done. Azhi currently up 4 workers. And Exit going for a very early starport. So this starport is not a +1 or +2, fast +2 upgrade. This starport is quick dropship. And let's see if Azhi will have the vision or the star sense to detect that this is Exit's plan. As a Protoss in this matchup, you want to make a wall near your mineral line in order to prevent enemy harassment units like Vultures from doing a lot of damage. We've got control tower on the way, and we will have our first dropship. So a lot of Terran drops in both of these games so far. Azhi going for shuttle speed. So Azhi has some plans of dropping the Terran as well. And we will just have to see whose drop is more effective. Azhi positioning 2 of his Dragoons to intercept that drop. Very nice. But he is still not building any structures to prevent the dropship from doing damage. He is building pylons at the edge of his base to extend vision, which is good. But if that pylon was over here and that pylon was over here, he would have almost blocked vulture harassment, or at least he would make it awkward for the vultures. Exit's drop plan was intercepted. The dropship goes down, but 4 vultures are unloaded. Let's see what the probe micro will be like. Probes are... he is losing quite a few of probes. He was up at 43 supply. almost 8 workers. Seven worker kills. And now this what's the worker count is equalized. But Exit is taking a 3rd base. And will be dropping Exit's base. Seems like the shuttle goes away because it sees the raids. So raids are very effective against dropships, against shuttles. So Azhi is not even going to bother dropping. He's prepared for a 2nd drop attempt, but he killed the first shuttle dropship. It is unlikely that the Terran will go for 2 dropships fast, and in general it's even unlikely that Terrans build a 2nd dropships after you killed the first one, because it's a huge investment for them to get that single unit. So Exit sees that a 3rd base was completed somewhere, because he sees the probes transferring. Observer being caught. Science facility done, 2nd armory done. So 2-1 will be starting as well. Very soon. Is that vulture type? Maybe. So far, situation looks very good for Azhi. He has fended off the first drop with some minimal losses, and is quite ahead in workers, has 4 bases, building a 5th base now. But he was unprepared for that secondary drop. And this is why it's important to have pylons or other buildings near your mineral line to prevent vultures from completely circumventing all your defenses and just utilizing their mobility. Exit positioning Sound of Mines in the mineral line, very, very heartbreaking situation for Azhi if he could not detonate these on time, but he seems like he's on top of that. And that army of dragoons will intercept the vultures pushing out on the map. They will confirm that the 5th base is going up and that the 4th base is already up and running, and yeah, as I said, this is not vulture tight. So unfortunate for Azhi that he had to lose all these units. So the wall on this map is pylon here, and pylon here. Exit placing some mines to scout mostly when Azhi is trying to take that base. Meanwhile, we've got Azhi with 2 Stargates. No arbiters yet though, and no carrier tech. Storm is being researched, so we have Storm and Speed Shuttles. So quite likely this is going to be the style that Azhi decides to go for. However, why did we build these 2 Stargates? This is the $1,000,000 question, and the answer is we are planning to transition into a lot of arbiters later on. We currently have access to 3 gas. Maybe we should take this one as well if you want to produce both High Templars and arbiters. Exit scouting with his vultures and scans. Will find a lot of probe kills over here. Very good find by Exit. This was completely exposed base. Cannons not up yet, and not any SimCity to prevent vultures from running by. A little probe hiding at the bottom of this base, trying to avoid the vultures. Exit sees the probes transferring, so he's likely to either try and harass again or move out because he knows a lot of the dragoons are out of position. It seems like his choice will be to move out. He is trying to go for the main, the middle of the map, funnily enough, and even though Sylphid is very, very defensible. So right now he is giving a chance to Azhi to surround him. Azhi will be taking a huge arc to engage the Terran army, but is this going to be enough? There are some good storms to start the fight, but no follow-up storms. Do we not have any energy? We don't have any energy on the High Templars. So that fight definitely went better for Exit. Can we get enough Zealots though? Are we going to use Storm? We used one of the Storms. And tanks killed that Nexus. Azhi will be trying to get a backstab at the Terran main. Where are the arbiters? The arbiters were just created, and I don't know what upgrades we have on these arbiters. A single Dragoon will definitely not hold that base, so these two tanks might be all that is needed to kill the CC, the Nexus mining. As he was in such a good position earlier, but that one engagement did not go well, and his two arbiters are stacked. They might get EMP. It seems like we do have energy for an EMP, but we are not EMPing yet. Not sure what Azhi's plan currently is. He has gateways in his main, but he does not have any gateways in the second main. And he will soon be running out of mining. So he currently has a bank to remax possibly with the gateways that he has. But it's not enough, so he needs to secure more mining. Or he needs to go for some miracle play. It seems like the answer to his miracle is a recall. All the mining that he currently has is basically in that single base. The mineral only still has some resources left in it as well, but not for long. Brico is ready, and we have an arbiter with full energy going into the Protoss main base. What is that arbiter going to achieve? He recalls more arbiters. The other arbiters have energy for stasis. Is he going to use the stasis to block units from coming in? He did. So that is a really nice play by Azhi, and he has control over a lot of the production facilities by Exit, but I don't know if that is going to be enough, because Exit has a huge army out on the map. He has... Oh, he's using the vultures. He's utilizing the fact that vultures are floating units, and they have some acceleration to push some of these stasis units. That is so clever by Exit. Stasis wears off, and now are we going to have a follow-up stasis? No, we will have a follow-up recall, is what Azhi is going for, and he is currently causing quite a lot of chaos in process in Terran's main base. These storms are very effective, but we've got Terran securing the second main, and that is not something that you like to see in the matchup. Storms are being as effective as they can right now, but this is probably not going to be enough. That was a very nice executed attack though. We have to give Azhi that. But it has no way to prevent the second main from being taken by Terran. That might just be the beginning of the end for Azhi. He will catch a lot of SCVs. That is a really nice storm and a nice follow-up storm. Kills all the SCVs. But even after that harassment, we are still ahead in worker count as exit. The army in the main base did a lot of damage. Exit currently in red supply. His maximum supply is 136 right now. So he will definitely need to make a lot of supply defaults. As he is trying to get out on the map and use his zealots, but there are mines and Azhi does not have any observers. So currently a bit of a chaos game as he trying to take that 11 o'clock base. Both arbiters get EMP'd. Some 6 storms, I don't even see the Templars, and I'm observing. So some 6 storms coming in from Azhi. They will weaken the Terran army. But is it going to be enough? Seems like this was a really bad attack angle by Azhi. But he might just have enough to take out this army. And if Azhi wants to keep playing in this game, he wants to secure some more mining. But Azhi currently on top of it. He's not allowing Azhi to secure any more mining. While taking that second main now successfully. He has resolved his supply block situation. And this is a bit of a chaotic game, to be honest. Nazi fighting very well. But the issue is that we are soon to run out of minerals for Protoss. And the only avenue that we have at continuing is if we somehow manage to break this base. A very good attempt by Azhi, but that EMP will do a lot of damage, allowing all the siege tanks to basically kill these dragoons without much trouble. Azhi currently has cleared all the spider mines from the map and will be brawling all of his forces to that second main base. Can he secure that location? Can he push exit off the base? Currently, we have some very minimal mining for Azhi. None of our arbiters have energy for Rico. But the bigger issue is that even if we had, we don't have an army to recall. We are trying to secure some more mining. We have this arbiter has a lot of energy. He can cast any spell that it wants. But the problem is that Exit will now deny our newly secured income. And we could not push Exit out of that second main base. So Azhi fighting really well in this match. Going to have a second attempt at the Doom recall that we had earlier. Seems like this time though Exit will have some units to defend and the recall will not be as effective and Azhi taps out. GG by Azhi. Exit takes the game. And that was quite something. Let's see. Azhi versus Exit. As I said, one of these two should take the lead. I am going to get a quick break and I'll be back with the game number 3. Alright, let's go into game number 3. That is going to be Vermin. I think Vermin is the first time that we're seeing Vermin play, if I'm correct. I think that's right. So I'm just gonna go with that. So we've got Vermin spawning here in the 8 o'clock position of Sylphid, and we've got Kiko again spawning in the 4 o'clock of Sylphid. Vermin will get the first count. And while both players are deciding their builds and developing the game, I just want to take the moment again to say thank you to everyone who is watching, either now live or later on demand. And say that if you are interested into CPL, or in this tournament in particular, you can use the exclamation mark CPL Royale and exclamation mark donate to learn more about the tournament and to see our current donation goals. All of your support is very much appreciated, and with that, I think my little self-advertisement shamelessly is over. Sorry, my voice is not at its best today. Right, so we've got 12 hatch here by Vermin. And we don't have a forward rocks yet by Kiko. So Kiko playing standard and Vermin replying with the same. Is this going to be a 2-hatch Spire, or is he going to go for that 3-hatchery play? This is, I suppose, the biggest question that we have for the early game. Kiko does not have his gas yet, so he's most likely going to try to go for that earlier CC and not into any tech play. First Overlord has been spotted. Vermin is now starting to mine gas. And we are building some marines. Kiko sees the lair being started. Will probably stick around to confirm that it's not being cancelled. I would really like to see a supply depot or something over here to just make that choke gnarl. Kiko's SV confirms that the lair has not been cancelled. Sees that there are no missing resources, so Vermin most likely is going to go for that 2-hatch lair. Third hatchery not seen in the main base. And it is a bit uncommon for Zerg players to throw down their hatchery anywhere else on the map that is on a third location. Vermin, though, chases the SCV of Kiko away and then throws down the hatchery and then throws down the spire, so he is going to go for a bit of a more eco style of play. But Kiko confirms this, sees the hatchery and sees the spire, so Kiko currently knows everything. His academy is almost done. He will be getting some extra barracks soon. He knows that the spire is not yet done, so there is no point of rushing eBay. And as you can see, he's taking his time before building that eBay. He will take a third rocks. And right about now, you want to start your eBay as the mutas are starting as well. Academy is ready. We still don't have a scanner, that's what it was called. Our eBay is done slightly earlier, it started slightly earlier, and we are moving out with our marines. We made the two firebats to stop these links from going in and doing any damage, but we are being denied of a lot of mining. And that's big. We lost a single SCV. And Vermin is now into the base, seeing everything that's going on. But on the other side, we lost the full army. We were very close to breaking that situation, but close is not enough in this game. Anyway, our marines that were on the other side of the map did manage to buy some time, and it seems like it might be a bit late, but we will have all the turrets in time. Mutas are still being very strong on that map. And picking a lot of SCVs. We are up to 6 mutas. And we lost single muta. So 7 mutas is the amount of mutas that you want to one-shot an SCV. So right now it's very scary for Kiko. As you can see, worker count is even. And Kiko sees that Vermin is trying to take his third base and sees where exactly he's trying to take his third base. But currently he's not able to do anything about it. Muta harassment on that map is so strong. Kiko probably needs an extra turret in his mineral line. Seven mutas diving on that single turret, but marine reinforcements come. So very well done by Kiko, forcing Vermin to lose a single muta and not really taking any losses himself. Vermin should now be aware that the firebat has scouted his base. Can Kiko place the firebat? No, I don't think he can place it here. So Vermin sees everything as soon as the base is complete. Kiko taking a lot of damage in workers. Some hydras on their way to kill that firebat. The mutas forcing Kiko to stay in his base. And as soon as the lurkers are done, our chances of breaking the high ground are a lot less probable. We have added extra turrets. Nice, nice. And we currently have 4 acts. We cannot support the 5th one. And are starting the starport so that we can get our vessels. But mutas are being so cost effective right now. We are down to 31 SCVs and Zerg has 40 drones. So this is an insane economy by the Zerg player. I wonder what the tech will be. So there is no Greater Spire, so these mutas will just try to get as many SCVs as they can, and they're currently preventing all mining from the natural minerals. Kiko cannot engage into this, no without science vessels and irradiate. Science vessels are quite a way away yet. And Vermin will even do the overlords over lurkers trick to make them harder to irradiate. As Zerg, we currently have access to 3 of our gases. And Zircon 3 gas is pretty strong. Zircon 4 gas is a menace. But as Kiko, maybe we can fight the Zircon 3 gas. We took a lot of eco damage, so it's not very likely, but we might be able to. If Zerg had 4 gases, we have no chance. And the first 2 science vessels are being produced. First one is out. And Irradiate is almost done. I suppose, yeah, Consume is already done. For Vermin, we have equal number of Defilers and Medics. That is probably not what you want. And Vermin is even taking that 3 o'clock base. We'll bleed a single Overlord. Kiko will scout that the 3 o'clock is going up and is definitely not going to be happy about it. Sees the amount of lurkers that we have, but Darkstorm is already complete. And we have plenty of Defilers. The moment we decide to move our lurkers, Kiko will have no other choice but to back off. And for now we are trying to fight with Lings only. Okay, so a single Defiler falls, that hatchery will go down, so some things going well for Kiko. But he will need a lot more victories if he really wants to get back into the game. He's doing a good job of applying pressure to the Zerg player. And he's scanning everywhere. make sure that Fort gas is not ever secured by Zerg. And Vermin finally decides to move his lurkers, but he is out of energy and the lurkers are exposed. He does not have any units to consume to cast Dark Swarm, and now he does, but the lurkers are all dead. And that is just really bad timing for the attack by Vermin. Will give Kiko a fighting chance. This army being worth a lot more at this stage of the game than it really should be. And some of the ultras are already out. We have Carapace upgrade for them, and we have some Plague Terran army. I think with these ultras we will finally be able to stop the siege that was going into our base as Zerg. Kiko very ambitiously will try to take third base and a fourth base at the same time. I have the feeling that at least one of these bases is definitely going down. Vermin did see the SCV transfer, but was he paying attention? Seems like the answer is yes, and he is going for an attack from a different angle. Will that SCV complete building that CC? The answer is yes. And Vermin currently has a lot of units, but he needs to consolidate the army and be more vigilant with the Dark Swarm. It's not an easy task given that science vessels are out. And Kiko, to his credit, is doing so much with so little. He was behind this whole game, and yet he was able to somehow make it look even. But now the ultras also have their speed upgrade, and at least the armor and the attack upgrades are matching. So the Terran Bio is still able to do damage to the ultras, and they don't feel like they are immortal. They're just very hard to kill. This base will not... Well, Vermin will deny mining from that 3 o'clock base. And will soon deny mining from that inner third base as well. So game is not looking good for Kiko. He does still have a few more resources left, but now he has to surrender map control. And with that, Vermin can take all the gas geysers that he really wants. And when Zerg is on 4 geysers, he can do whatever he wants. That was a really nasty plague. Somehow not managing one of the science vessels, even though they were all on top of each other. Dark Swarm near Theron's natural. Can we get any lurkers? The answer is no, but we don't really need them. Zerglings are now immortal. They will advance. Where is the defiler? There it was. So Zergling is overextending a bit. That's why it's usually good to have either an Ultra or a Lurker with them to help with the DPS. Can we cast a second Darkstorm before the Defiler dies? No. Whatever. Vermin has all the eco. It has all the upgrades. And he currently just needs to sit back for a moment, gather his army, and then attack. All these vessels are in the deep red, but we run out of mutas. Seems like we are now making some mutas, maybe to try and snipe some of these vessels. And as the Terran army is advancing, it will be surrounded. Vermin finally consolidating the armies. And that just spells disaster for Kiko. Vermin currently lacking in the Carapace upgrades, so Marines are killing Ultras easier than they really should. Mutas flying over. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of these is. Yeah, so this is 4 Marines and a Firebat, and even though these 2 Ultras were damaged, they did a lot more damage than they should have. Now the 2 vessels will finish the job. But the bad news for Kiko is we are almost out of minerals. And as I said, even though we were fighting as well as we could, sooner or later we will just run out of money. Vessels advancing again. Vermin going for a surround of the Terran army yet again. We'll clean up all of the infantry that is out of position outside the natural base. The Firebats will not arrive in time. There are Firebats fighting Ultras now, and this is not the fight that you want to take as Terran. Kiko scanning to confirm what bases have been taken and whether Zerg is mining gas. He sees that Zerg does not yet have 4 to gas, so maybe that is the one thing that is still keeping him in this game, but we just have to secure a command center. We cannot let Zerg do whatever they want if we were to continue in this game. And this is going to be the last fight. Kiko decides that this is the third base that he wants to take, and it's up to Vermin right now to deny this single attack, and if he does that, he wins the game. If Kiko manages to defend, the game continues. But with that plague, it is getting progressively harder for Vermin, for Kiko to defend. Although this medic wall by Kiko was really nice, but all these medics are now out of energy as a result of the plague. So at best they can serve as medic walls to prevent scrub the AI and mess up the Zerg units pathing. But we have killed all of the SCVs as Vermin. And GG, Kiko leads the game. Vermin was just consistently attacking until Kiko ran out of money and had no other choice but to admit defeat. Well done by Vermin, securing his name on the scoreboard. So I have Kiko and Vermin. I have played their game already. And Vermin took a point. And our last game for today is SilentStorm versus Exit, another TVT. Have our Terran players being the most disciplined, playing their games every single week? I think that's the case. So we had activity in week 1 and we are gonna finish with activity right now. So last game, SilentStorm versus Exit. Exit has a chance to leap ahead of his competition in the scoreboard with 3 points while everyone else is only at 1? Or is SilentStorm going to be the second person that will have 2 points on the board? That is the final question for the evening, or morning, or day, wherever you are. And it's all going to come down to a single TVT. Our favorite matchup. Gosh, I miss Love Snow. So we have the first slow, aka SilentStorm, spawning in the 12 o'clock position of Sylphid. And we've got Exit spawning in the 8 o'clock position in brown. Exit, our hero from the very first match that we opened with in this stream, lost to Europe. It was a very good game. Go back and check it out if you have not done yet already. But right now it's a whole different matchup. It's TVT, and I don't really know chronologically whether this game was played before the match with Europe or after. But regardless, both Exit and SilentStorm very solid players. Exit already kind of one of the staples of the CPL, or the strongest player in the strongest players in the CPL. He was in CPL 8 as well. SilentStorm though, he definitely, to my knowledge, has his had his first season as a pupil. I believe that he was a coach a few seasons ago as well. But that's the thing with the league. Some of our pupils improve so much that they are at coach level, and we don't really turn them down. Say you're too good for the league, you cannot compete anymore. So we still allow them to compete as long as there are other players in their respective ranges. And some of these players are what used to be the coaches. Now, I really hate Sylphid for the putting of the workers. They really like to glitch out on these eggs. Identical builds so far for both of our players. I wish I paid a bit closer attention to the gas. I think this means... Yeah, they both have 3 on gas after starting their factories, which means tech. And for SilentStorm, this means a second factory. And for exit, let's see what his choice is going to be. So he will start the machine shop, but is there going to be a starport or a second factory? Seems like he will just go and expand. Which makes me wonder why the 3 SCVs on gas. Two factories and an armory for SilentStorm. Meanwhile, Exit has his expansion started. So SilentStorm potentially has an opening here where he can find a lot of damage. Exit building a tank. And what's coming after the tank? Seems like it's going to be a building. No machine shops by SilentStorm yet. We have 3 vultures and 3 marines. We saw the bunker and we have decided to go back. Try to harass that barracks. Right now we have a second factory for exit as well. 2 machine shops for SilentStorm. And the barracks will go down as soon as these... Ooh. Exit advancing forward with his tanks. Will lose a single marine. But more importantly, he will lose his barracks. And right now, SilentStorm will be able to see everything that's going on in exit space. You will see that there is a single factory with a machine shop so far. So he can definitely match the tank count that SilentStorm, or SilentStorm can definitely match the tank count that Exit currently has. Siege is done already for Exit. And with these tanks sieged, he will push all Vulture Marine aggression away. So we are waiting to see what SilentStorm will do with his tanks. That is a very nice position tank. Will be harder to surround. Oof. The Marine is just used to clear some of the mines. The mines are just outside of siege tank range. So they were kind of marking the territory where SilentStorm knew not to advance any further. We lost our Marines for Exit and SilentStorm. But that's okay. We have 4 tanks. I'm not gonna count this one because it's not in the offensive. 4 tanks and a Vulture versus 4 tanks and a Goliath. And the situation currently is looking better for Exit if he does not overstep. So TTVT is always so fragile in this part of the game that you're kind of forced to set up the no man's land. Because if you don't and you overstep with an inch, your opponent will punish you for that and win the game. But right now we've got Exit taking a 3rd base and SilentStorm thinking about taking a 3rd base. Not yet ready to commit to the 3rd base though. So Exit currently has only 3 siege tanks. And SilentStorm is able to overtake this easily if he wanted to. It seems like Exit will be making a single raid to catch to provide vision for his tanks. And do we have any further tech for SilentStorm? The answer is no, not yet. They're base mining for Exit. And sees that their base for SilentStorm is not yet done. The raid will finally kill that pesty barracks from the beginning of the game. It seems like he will try and go for a tiny bit of an engagement. But as the situation currently unfolds, if we draw a straight line, this will definitely be an advantage for Exit. Because he will have access to that 2nd main base eventually, and seems like he's even doing further work to make sure that he cuts his opponent out of as many resources as possible. SilentStorm fighting back, but not taking cost-efficient trades for sure. Seven factories for SilentStorm versus 6 factories for Exit. Do we have... No, we only have plus 1 just started for SilentStorm, and we have plus 1 almost done for Exit. So Exit will have a window of opportunity where he has the upgrade advantage. He should use that whenever he has plus 2. Exit will be taking a fort base near SilentStorm, whereas SilentStorm already has his fort base set up. And he's trying to take a 5th base now. Exit is also trying to secure a 5th base of his own. Are we making starport tech? We have a single dropship from SilentStorm, and we don't have any dropships yet by Exit, I think. A bit of a skirmish going in that part of the map. Exit really needs to have some tanks sieged right over here to make attacking for his opponents ever so slightly more uncomfortable. And if he does that, SilentStorm will need to fight for his next base, because he is currently on 5 bases, but these are all bases that he has access to. And Exit is also on 5 bases right now, but he also has access to the base over here, the base over here, and the base over here. This one is in... while currently in Exit's possession, it's a bit of a no man's land. But seems like Exit will try and press on at the inner 12 o'clock. How far is he from the +2 upgrade? Because that is quite crucial. It is quite a bit of a way yet. Did Exit see the dropships? I'm not sure that he did. And SilentStorm is pushing on his own into the inner 3rd base. Sort of going for an offensive of his own as soon as one of his bases is threatened. But the dropships are loading, and a lot of the follow-up in that game will be dependent on the outcome of these dropships. Although the dropships are loaded, this is probably not the attack avenue that SilentStorm wants to attack in, but his factories are currently under siege. So he's trying the best that he can to break that siege over here, but it is just so strong. Exit has so many units there. And the few braids by SilentStorm are not going to be enough to save him. SilentStorm will have a tiny victory at the 9 days base, although the cost for that is a lot of his outer turrets and a single factory. Exit counter dropping SilentStorm's forces in an attempt to push away the aggression. Will be unsuccessful so far. Both of our players have +2 upgrade already done. And what is going to be the next progression? This is the part of TVT that is the really critical one. That middle game decides a lot of the times will be responsible for the outcome of the whole game. This is where both of our players are fully developed and will try to take advantage of over one another. In TVT, it's very difficult to kill your opponent, so even though one of the players gets an advantage at some point, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will win the game. Their opponent still has an avenue for coming back, but it will be a lot harder. SilentStorm currently aware of these 4 dropships. And it seems like the dropships are headed for the second main. So they will deny all mining that was going on over there. The command center completes in the nick of time, so will be lifted. So at least there is that small victory for SilentStorm. But Exit currently in a very good position. What is going to be the transition? Exit currently on 4 starports and researching Cloak. So Exit is planning on transitioning into a lot of raids. Meanwhile, SilentStorm is just trying to secure more of his bases and does not have plan for the later stages of the game. Exit might lose a dropship or loses both of the dropships actually. So that is pretty big, but finally that force that was denying the inner third base will be dealt with. How is Exit's air army developing? The tank that is under that tree actually, as far as the game is concerned, is considered on high ground. So miss chances still apply to that siege tank. And we do have a small skirmish in the middle of the map. Basically, currently the fight is for access to that second main. And SilentStorm plan is to try and overpower with units, whereas Exit is going for more of a technical knockdown with his army of raids. So he currently has 6-7 raids on the way, and we have SilentStorm just scouting the plans of Exit 4 going into these raids. What is going to be the response though? Exit is already maxed with his raids. So we'll be looking to try and be aggressive at some stage of the game. At this point, SilentStorm has sieged so many tanks because Exit can start elevatoring tanks into SilentStorm's main base, which is not really a situation that you ever want to be in. So he's forced to leave some siege tanks at home to defend. That single siege tank has so many kills just because Exit is long distance mining and does not realize that his forces are under attack. Eight kills on that tank. Seems like the plan of SilentStorm is also to go into mass raid, but he is behind in terms of raid count. And we are now in a bit of a stalemate situation for both players. One of them will soon make a move that will force a reaction out of their opponent. But we are currently waiting to see who is the one that will be forcing a response. This is not a bugged replay, is it? Is it? SilentStorm is very suspiciously moving his tanks. What do we think? Is this replay bugged? I think so. Okay, I will remake the game. Because I was suspicious of some of the actions that players were doing at the very end. So probably did not deviate a very long time into the game, but regardless, we do want to see the end of the real game. Oh no. I had the wrong overlay. Anyway, you did not see the game duration of that game. Well, you will see now. Right. So we were at about the 25-minute mark. And I am going to progress to that. Yeah, the situation is looking a bit different right now. Exit is not mindlessly long distance mining from that base, and SilentStorm has the second main secured. There is more action in the game. That's good. That is what we want to see. That single siege tank and long distance mining made me suspicious on the round. Anyway, what are the upgrades that we have? Still no air upgrades, and seems like Exit just managed to break the second main. We have some raid versus raid action. But Exit does not have a scan. Exit loses all his raids as a result. And SilentStorm will try to secure that second main again. Let's not fiddle too much with the vision of the players, because that is often what breaks the game. Ooh, Exit is actually in a bit of a difficult situation right here, because SilentStorm has secured mining from that second main, while Exit might have the lead in terms of supply. But he cannot secure another mining base. And if he does not prevent SilentStorm from taking that base, it will be very difficult for him. So really great job done by SilentStorm, who was behind in the earlier stages of the game, being zoned out from resources. Exit does like his raid play, but currently it's not working as well as it did versus Kiko. Exit will try to deny that 3 o'clock position. And that will be a very big pickoff if he manages to do it, but there is no anti-air really for SilentStorm, so he might be able to. All the Goliaths that were attacking the 3 o'clock position were killed. Turrets are being added at the second natural. And Exit is in trouble. He really needs to make something happen. SilentStorm cannot mine these 3 mineral patches, they are under siege fire. But Exit currently has mining from only these two bases, and they are both running out rapidly. So he needs to get on the aggression and secure an extra base. Better yet, he has to kill some of SilentStorm's bases while taking command centers of his own. He will finally get off that force that was preventing him from taking the base down here. But big fight in the middle of the map will be quite crucial for the later stages of that game. Seems like SilentStorm might just have enough to hold that advancement from Exit, and if that is the case, Exit will be in a pretty bad situation because his opponent will have more mining than him. SilentStorm neglecting all the armor upgrades. Poor 3 raids of Exit will be overwhelmed by the raids of SilentStorm. There is a Goliath to the raid though. Exit will kill these Goliaths to secure his new base. Will that be enough though? Exit almost down to one base mining. Will be down to one base mining very soon. 20 minerals left in one of his bases. Will now try to break the second main. Unfortunately, Exit is right now gas starved. He had access only to 3 gas, whereas his opponent had twice as many for a long duration of the game. The raid play did not pay off, and now SilentStorm with his counter raid play will be killing the last tanks of Exit. Exit really trying to get his Goliaths in time to defend that, but SilentStorm decides not to care. This is ill-advisable. Even 10 raids are not enough to kill single Goliath, but SilentStorm will attack with his ground forces as well, and with that Exit will lose his final mining location, which means that SilentStorm takes the game. Well done by SilentStorm. So we have 2 players currently. At 2 points each. And we still have some players without any points to their name. Not too late. And the biggest surprise from this stream, in my personal opinion, was that Baal versus Exit game. Really well executed by Baal. These are all the games that we have so far. There are, as you can see, a few games that have not been played. And these I don't yet know what these will come down to. There might just be walkovers, or we could have them casted at a later stage. It all depends on the players. But with that, this is going to be it for the cast today. Thank you for joining me. And right now, I think we have the finals. No, we've got the round of 8 of the Polish stream, Polish LAN thing. So thank you everybody for joining me today. See you next week for another CPL Royale cast. And with that, I'm gonna raid 0 and we'll say our goodbyes here. Alright? See you all next week.